I did not plan to break the law. That Di was a maintenance worker on Outpost Ring 7. My job was simple: check seals, replace filters, keep oxygen clean, avoid trouble. Humans were new to the Union. We were cheap labor, quiet labor, easy to ignore. That was why I saw her. Section D was not part of my route. A pressure fault sent me there. The corridor lights were dim, the air felt heavy. No guards in sight, no voices, only the low hum of containment fields. Then I heard metal shift, a chain dragged across the floor. I followed the sound. At the end of the hall there was a reinforced cell. Inside sat a woman. She looked almost human. Almost. She was tall and slender. Her skin was pale blue with a faint glow. Silver hair fell over her shoulders, heavy black. Chains wrapped around her wrists and ankles. Symbols burned faint red along the metal. Her head was lowered. Her posture was calm, but tired. I should have walked away instead. I stepped closer. Her head lifted slowly. Her eyes met mine. They were gold bright and steady, not angry, not afraid, just watching. My throat felt drier. "You alive?" I asked. "Yes," she answered. Her voice was smooth and clear. No translator lag, perfect human speech. "What did you do?" "Nothing." I almost laughed. No one ended up in Section D for nothing. But she did not look violent. She looked exhausted. The chains were cutting into her skin. Small streaks of darker blue marked where metal bit too deep. I glanced down the corridor, again still empty. "Why are you here?" I asked. "Because they fear what I protect." That answer made no sense, but something inside me felt wrong about leaving Harry. "I'm not supposed to be here." I said. "Yet you are," she replied. Silence settled between Yuzi. Moved toward the control panel beside the cell. My heart pounded loud in my ears. "This is stupid," I whispered. The digital lock required clearance I did not have, but the physical restraints had manual anchors. My repair tool could release those if someone saw me. I would lose everything: job, citizenship, maybe my life. She watched without speaking. "Why help me?" she asked. Quietly. "I do not know," I answered. "Honestly, maybe because no one helped us when we were weak. Maybe because she did not beg. She simply endured." My hands shook as I pressed the tool against the first anchor. Click. One chain dropped to the floor. She did not move. The second lock released. Then the third. The heavy restraints slid away from her limbs. The red symbols faded into dark metal. She remained seated. "You are free," I said. "Freedom is rarely simple," she replied. Slowly she rose to her feet. She was taller than I expected, graceful even in weakness. She stepped forward. The cell door was open. "You should run," I said. She studied me. "What is your name?" "Daniel." She nodded once. "Daniel." She stepped past me into the corridor. "Why did you help me?" she asked. Again, because someone had to. She stopped at the end of the hall, turned back. Her golden eyes locked onto mine. "I will remember you." Then she was gone. No alarms sounded, no guards appeared. The corridor remained silent. I returned to work. In a daze, finished my shift, went home to my small housing block near the lower dock. Sleep did not come easy. The next few days passed without incident. No questioning, no arrest, no sign of Harry. Convinced myself she had escaped the station. I was wrong. 3 nights later, someone knocked on my door. No one ever visited me. I had no family on the station. Few friends. I opened the door. Slowly she stood there, clean, healthy, stronger. Her silver hair shone softly under the corridor lights. Her blue skin glowed brighter than before. She wore simple, dark clothing that flowed like liquid. "You," she said. "Yes." I answered. "May I enter?" Hesitated only a second before stepping aside. My apartment was small. One table, one bed, a narrow window facing the docking lanes. She examined everything with quiet curiosity. "This is where you live?" "Yes, it is modest." That is a kind word for Ita. Faint smile touched her lips. My name is Lothari, she said. I am Daniel. You already know that Isich turned toward the window you saved may unlocked chains you freed me. There is a difference, she said. I crossed my arms. Why were you chained? Because I am a guardian of what balance. I frowned. That sounds dramatic. It is survival, she replied. My people watched empires. When one grew too cruel, we intervened. We ensured smaller species endured. The Union did not like that. They prefer control without resistance. So they captured us. Not kill UB, cause they were unsure what would happen if they tried that. Did not comfort me. Why come here? I asked. Because they will discover who freed me. Cold fear crept into my chest. And then what then? They will remove the problem, you mean? Me. Yes, I sat down slowly. This was a mistake. No, she stepped closer. You chose compassion. That is never a mistake. Easy for you to say. She lifted her hand and placed it lightly over my chest. Warmth spread through me, calm and steady. You think humans are weak, she said. We Rue are young. That is different. Her eyes glowed brighter. You freed a stranger without promise of reward. That is strength. Strength does not stop soldiers. She smiled faintly. You would be surprised. The next morning military ships arrived. Large grey cruisers with Union insignia. Troops filled the corridors, scanning, questioning, watching. 2 officers stood across from my housing block that afternoon. They know, I said quietly. Yes. Lothari answered from behind. May did not hear her enter. Will they arrest me? Not while I stand. How? She stepped past me into the open corridor. The officers stiffened. Their hands moved toward their weapons, then froze. Their air seemed to bend around her, a subtle distortion like heat rising from metal. She did not raise her voice. Leave this one. The officers exchanged uneasy looks, then slowly stepped back. They turned and walked away. What did you do? I asked, reminded them of consequences. Days passed. Searches continued, but never reached my door. Whispers spread through the station about a blue figure seen in security feeds, about systems failing near her presence. One evening she returned. They are leaving, she said. Just like that. Fear is efficient. I exhaled deeply. So it is over. Node. She looked at the stars through my window. This is the beginning of what of humanity being seen. I laughed softly. We are already seen. No, she corrected. You are noticed. Is it different? She turned toward me. Your species will grow. You will travel. You will build. Some will seek power. Some will choose mercy. And you will watch us if you allow it. Why help us? Because you helped. My silence filled the small room. I am not important, I said. You are proof, she replied. Proof of what? That humans can choose kindness, even when afraid. She stepped toward the door. Will I see you again? I asked. Yes, when it matters. She paused in the doorway. Daniel is thanked you. Then she was gone. Years passed. Humans gained influence within the Union. Our ships grew larger, our voice stronger. We were no longer invisible. Sometimes during quiet nights, I would sense warmth near my window, a faint shimmer against the stars. I never doubted it was her. History would record treaties, conflicts, alliances, but it would never record the small moment in Section D, when a maintenance worker chose to unlock a chain. Empires believe power shapes the galaxy. They are wrong sometimes. It is a single act of mercy, a quiet refusal to look away, a simple choice to help someone who cannot repay. Youth is how change begins, not with fleets, not with weapons, with kindness. And somewhere among the stars, a guardian remembered the human who saw her not as a threat, but as a person.